Ever wish you could, like, fix some crazy tech issue super fast?
Right.
Or, like, you know, really impress your boss with some serious system knowledge?
Mm-hmm.
Well, get ready to unlock the secret weapon that all those tech pros use, the Windows command prompt.
Ooh.
We're going to take a deep dive into this kind of old school, but, like, surprisingly powerful tool
Right.
to figure out why it's still such a must-have in today's tech world.
You know, it's kind of funny how even with all the, like, sleek apps and all these easy-to-use interfaces we have now,
Yeah.
something as, like, basic as the command prompt can still have so much power.
Right. It really is. It's like this hidden door to how your computer actually works. And once you know the right commands,
Oh, yeah.
it's like you're speaking the computer's language.
Absolutely.
So let's start with like the basics.
Okay.
What makes the command prompt so important?
Well, think of it this way. When you use your mouse to click on things and you're going through menus, you're kind of going through layers and layers to get to what you need.
Yeah.
But with the command prompt, you can just like skip all that and you're working directly with the system. It's like taking a shortcut through a huge forest. You get where you're going much faster.
Okay, so it's all about efficiency and getting things done quickly.
Exactly.
But can you give me like a real-world example of how that speed translates into something, useful?
Absolutely. Let's say you're working on a project and suddenly the internet's out.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of going through all the troubleshooting menus, you can just open up command prompt and type ping and then like a website address. Boom. You instantly know if the problem's with your connection or the website itself.
Wow, I never realized you could diagnose like a network issue that fast.
Yeah.
No wonder employers want you to know this stuff.
Exactly. Whether you're in IT or cybersecurity, even software development, knowing how to use the command prompt is a big advantage.
Right?
It shows that you understand systems and aren't afraid to get technical.
Okay, but let's be real. The command prompt can seem a little scary.
Mm-hmm.
Is that true?
There's definitely a learning curve.
Okay.
And yeah, it can be tough if you're not careful.
Right.
The syntax, which is basically the grammar of commands, has to be exactly right.
Okay.
And unlike clicking buttons, one small typo in the command prompt can really mess things up.
Oh, that does sound a bit scary.
Yeah.
Can you give me an example?
One classic example is the rdes command.
Okay.
It's used to delete entire folders. So imagine if you accidentally type that in the wrong folder.
Oh, no.
You could wipe out important files instantly.
Yikes.
It's a good reminder that, well, with great power comes great responsibility.
True.
Understanding each command is really, really important.
Okay, so be careful and double check everything.
Yeah.
It's not just about speed. It's about using this power the right way.
Absolutely.
Now, I'm kind of curious about how the command prompt is used in different areas of tech.
Okay.
Let's start with hardware. What kind of things can we do with hardware?
Oh, the command prompt is a lifesaver when it comes to fixing hardware issues.
Let's say you're dealing with a computer that's like running super slow.
Yeah, been there.
The system info command can really help.
Okay.
It's like getting a full report on your system's health.
Nice.
You'll instantly see things like your processor speed, how much RAM you have, and even your operating system details.
So instead of like going through all those different menus, you just get all that info at once.
Exactly.
That's super helpful.
And then there's WMIC, which stands for Windows Management Instrumentation Command Line, but you don't have to remember all that.
Okay.
Think of it like a Swiss Army knife for getting specific hardware details.
Okay, I like that.
You need to know your processor model. Just type WMIC, CPU, get name.
All right.
Curious about your hard drive details?
Yeah.
WMIC disk drive will tell you what you need.
I'm starting to see how this can be a real game changer for anyone working with hardware.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Now, for hard drives, there's the tick command, right?
Yes. That one checks for errors on your hard disk.
It's like giving your hard drive a checkup.
Got it. So make sure everything's running smoothly.
Exactly.
And if you really need to do some major work on your hard drive, there's always diskpart.
Yes, but be very careful with that one.
Yeah.
Diskpart is powerful. You can manage partitions, resize them, even delete them.
Right.
But it's like doing brain surgery on your computer.
Whoa.
One wrong move, and you could lose important data, so like triple check those commands.
Noted. All right, so we've looked at hardware.
Right.
Let's move on to software. How can the command prompt help with those, like, annoying software issues?
Well, one of the most useful commands is task list.
Okay.
Let's say you're trying to work, but an app freezes and won't close.
Ugh, I hate when that happens.
Yeah, so task list shows you every single process running on your computer. It's like looking behind the scenes at everything that's happening.
So it's like looking under the hood of your car.
Exactly. And if you want even more details, you can add IMS and then the name of the process.
And if you need to like actually stop a process, there's task kill.
Right.
You got it. Nice.
Task kill lets you close those stubborn programs that just won't quit. It's especially helpful for dealing with like malware.
Uh-huh.
You can use taskkill fm process name to force it to shut down.
Ooh, that's good to know. What about system files? Are there any commands for that?
Absolutely. If you think a corrupt system file is causing problems,
Mm-hmm.
SFC scan now is your best friend.
Okay.
It'll scan your entire system for bad files and try to fix them.
Nice.
Like a mechanic fixing your car's engine.
That's awesome. So it's like a preventative measure
Yeah.
to stop those weird errors from popping up.
Exactly. And for those who really like to tweak their system settings, there's
Yeah.
Regedit.
The registry. That sounds kind of scary.
Yeah, it can be.
Okay.
Regedit gives you access to the Windows registry. It's a massive database of system settings.
Right.
But be careful, it's like doing open heart surgery on your computer.
Whoa.
One wrong edit can seriously mess things up, so proceed with extreme caution.
So maybe back up your registry before you change anything.
Good idea.
Yeah.
And finally, we have the shutdown command.
Okay.
Might seem simple, but it actually has way more options for turning off or restarting your computer than clicking the menus.
Okay, so we covered hardware and software.
Mm-hmm.
What about networking?
Oh, yeah.
Does the command prompt have some tricks for that too?
You bet it does. Let's start with ipconfig.
Okay.
Imagine you're having problems connecting to the internet.
The worst.
ipconfig shows you all your IP details, like your IP address, subnet mask, default gateway.
Okay.
It's like getting a map of your internet connection.
So if a website's not loading, ipconfig can help me figure out what
Exactly. And if you have problems with DNS,
Okay.
you know when websites just won't load?
Mm-hmm.
ipconfig flush DNS will clear your DNS cache.
Okay.
That usually solves the problem.
Like hitting the reset button on your internet connection.
Exactly. Now let's talk about the ping command.
Right.
This one sends a signal to a specific website
Right.
and sees how long it takes to respond.
Okay.
It's a super quick and easy way to test your connection
Right.
and see if a website is actually working.
Got it. So if the internet seems slow, ping can help me figure out what's causing it.
Yeah. And if you need even more details,
Yeah.
there's tracert, which is short for traceroute.
Okay.
It shows you the entire path your data takes to get to a website,
Wow.
listing every step along the way.
Nice.
That can help you spot any slowdowns or problems in your connection.
Whoa, Tracert is like a GPS tracker for my data.
You could say that.
That's cool.
Now, to see all the active connections and open ports on your system,
Uh-huh.
we use Netstat. It's great for keeping an eye on your network activity and spotting anything that looks strange.
So if I'm worried about security, Netstat can help me see if there's anything suspicious.
Exactly. And finally, there's AnsLookup. This one's used for DNS resolution. It translates domain names like google.com
Right.
into IP addresses, which are those number addresses computers use to talk to each other.
Okay.
It's a helpful tool for checking if DNS is working right.
All right, so we've covered hardware, software, and networking.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
it is.
What about security? What kind of command prompt tricks can help us keep our systems safe?
Security. That's where the command prompt can really shine.
Okay, good.
Let's start with net user and then a username.
Okay.
This will show you info about a specific user account, including the last time they logged in.
Got it.
It's useful if you think someone might have gotten into your system
Okay.
and you want to see what they were doing.
So if someone's computer is acting weird, net user can help me see if someone else has been using it.
Yep. And to see who has admin privileges on your system,
Okay.
you can use net local group administrators.
All right.
This is really important for making sure that only the right people have access to, like, change things.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And what about when you need to, like, delete something permanently?
Yeah.
Is there a command for that?
Yeah, cipher W, and then the name of the directory will securely wipe the free space on your drive,
Ooh. Okay.
making deleted files basically impossible to recover.
So it's like using a shredder on your digital files.
Exactly.
Nice.
What about commands to see my own user privileges and security settings?
Yeah, that would be helpful.
There's the WAMI command.
Okay.
It just tells you what username you're logged in as.
Simple, but good to know.
Right. It might seem simple, but it's a good way to double check, especially if you're using multiple computers.
Right, right.
And to go even deeper into group policy, there's ABPresult.
Okay,
That shows you all the group policy settings for your user account and computer.
got it.
This can help you see how your system's set up and fix any problems with those policies.
Speaking of security, Wi-Fi is often a weak point.
Oh, yeah,
Are there any command prompt tricks for managing Wi-Fi profiles?
for sure. Neshmelon Show Profiles shows you all the saved Wi-Fi profiles on your computer,
Okay.
including their SSIDs,
Mm-hmm.
which are just the names of the Wi-Fi networks.
Right.
It's a good reminder to keep this info safe,
Right.
because if someone gets on your computer, they can see those saved networks.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so what if I want to delete an old Wi-Fi profile?
There's a command for that too.
Okay.
Neshmelon delete profile name, and then the name of the Wi-Fi network in quotes.
Okay.
That will delete that saved Wi-Fi profile.
Nice.
This helps with removing old profiles or just managing your saved passwords so you have more control over your Wi-Fi and it's more secure.
Okay, so we've gone over so many command prompt commands.
Yeah.
From checking hardware to managing security.
Mm-hmm.
It's obvious that knowing these commands is super valuable for a tech career.
Absolutely. Let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll dive into some real-world scenarios and see just how important these skills can be in the workplace.
Okay, so we're back. And I'm already starting to see how these command prompt commands can be so useful.
Oh yeah, for sure. Imagine this, like a really important server crashes. And everyone's freaking out.
Right.
The IT team is running around trying to fix it.
Right.
But then someone who knows the command prompt comes in, opens it up, and with just a few commands,
Yeah.
they figure out the problem and get that server back online super fast.
Nice.
They're instantly the office hero.
See, that's what I'm talking about. It's like having a secret weapon.
Mm-hmm.
A way to fix things that other people might struggle with for hours.
Exactly. And it's not just for emergencies. Knowing these commands can make everyday things so much easier.
Right.
Like managing files, automating tasks, even changing your system settings.
Yeah, yeah.
The command prompt can help with all of that.
Okay, I'm convinced.
Good.
Command prompt skills are a must-have.
Definitely.
Now, you mentioned Active Directory earlier.
Right.
I hear that a lot, but I'm not really sure what it is.
Okay, well, Active Directory is like the central nervous system for a lot of organizations,
Okay.
especially big companies.
Right.
It's a Microsoft directory service
Uh-huh.
that helps manage users and computers
Okay.
and other resources on a network. Think of it like a giant, super organized filing cabinet
Oh,
that has information about everything and everyone on the network.
so it's not just a list of names and contact info.
No.
It actually controls who has access to what.
Exactly. Active Directory helps IT admins decide who can log in, what they can access, and what they can do.
Got it.
It's all about security and keeping things organized.
So how does the command prompt fit into all of this?
Well, the command prompt lets you directly work with and manage Active Directory.
Uh-huh.
There are special commands that admins can use to create, change, and delete user accounts,
Okay.
groups, and other things within Active Directory,
Right.
all without using menus.
Okay, can you give me some examples of those commands?
Sure. A common one is ISAD, which stands for Directory Service Add.
Okay.
So let's say a new employee starts and you need to set up their user account.
Right.
Instead of going through all those menus, you can just use the didsad user command,
Mm-hmm.
add their details, and boom, their account is created in seconds.
That sounds way more efficient,
Yeah,
especially when you have tons of users to manage.
exactly. And then there's didsquery, which is like a search engine for Active Directory.
Okay.
Let's say you need to find all the users in a certain department.
Mm-hmm.
You can just use didsquery user and add some filters.
Got it.
Or maybe you need to find all computers running a specific version of Windows.
Okay.
You'd use didsquery
So
computer.
didsquery is like a super search tool.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And once you find what you're looking for,
Yeah.
you can use didsmod to change its properties, like
Right.
if someone changes their last name.
Right.
You can quickly update that in Active Directory using didsmod user.
So the command prompt really gives IT people a lot of control over Active Directory.
Oh, for sure. But it's super important for anyone using those commands to understand how Active Directory works
Okay.
and what could happen if they make a mistake.
Right.
One wrong command could affect the entire network.
So definitely double, triple check those commands.
Absolutely. Now, thinking about your career,
Mm-hmm.
having good command prompt skills, especially with Active Directory, can really help you get ahead.
Yeah, I bet companies really want people who know this stuff.
They absolutely do. IT professionals who can use the command prompt and manage Active Directory are in high demand.
Okay.
These skills can lead to higher salaries,
Yeah.
better jobs, and you'll probably move up faster in your career.
So if you're trying to improve your IT career, mastering the command prompt and Active Directory is a good idea.
It's a smart move, for sure. It shows employers you're not just comfortable with basic stuff.
Right.
You're willing to go deeper, understand the core systems,
Yeah.
and manage them effectively.
It's like you're fluent in the language of IT.
Exactly. Now, let's switch gears a bit and talk about group policy.
Okay.
It's connected to Active Directory and user management.
Yeah, I've heard of it, but I'm not really clear on what it is or how it works.
It can seem a bit complicated at first,
Sure.
but it's actually a very powerful and easy way to manage a lot of users and computers.
Right.
Think of group policy like a set of rules that admins can apply across a whole network.
Okay.
It's like setting guidelines for how computers and users should act in an organization.
So instead of setting up each computer and user account one by one, you can use group policy to do it automatically.
Exactly. Let's say a company wants to have a strict password policy for security.
Okay.
Instead of setting it up on each computer, they can create a group policy. That applies that rule to everyone in a department or even the whole company.
So it keeps everything consistent and secure.
Exactly. And it's not just for passwords.
Okay. What else?
Group policy can control all kinds of things.
Like what?
Software installations, security settings, desktop configurations,
Right.
even rules about internet usage.
So it's a way to manage and secure the entire IT environment all from one place.
Exactly. And here's the cool part.
Yeah.
You can actually use the command prompt to work with and manage group policy settings directly.
Wait, so even though group policy usually has its own interface, you can use the command prompt to change things behind the scenes.
You got it. There are commands that let you view, apply, and even fix problems with group policy settings all from the command line.
Okay, what are some of those commands?
Sure. One basic one is gpupdate,
Okay,
which basically refreshes the group policy settings on a computer.
got it.
Let's say you change a group policy and want those changes to happen right away. You just run gpupdate, the computer will get those new settings.
So it's like refreshing group policy.
Exactly. And if you want to see a detailed report of all the group policy settings for a user or computer, you can use the job result command. This gives you a full report that can help you fix problems.
Right.
Or just make sure the settings are working right.
So gPresult helps you understand how group policy is affecting a system.
Yes. And if you want to get really deep into the details, there's the gPresult Z command.
Okay.
It gives you an even more detailed report that includes all the registry settings that are changed by group policy.
Okay, that sounds pretty advanced.
Yeah,
But I can see how that would be really helpful for fixing complex group policy issues.
exactly. Now, let's think about your career again.
Okay.
Having a good understanding of group policy, both from the regular interface and the command prompt,
Okay.
is a really valuable skill in IT.
Yeah, it shows that you can manage not just individual computers, but the whole network.
Exactly. These skills are in high demand for jobs like system admins,
Right.
network engineers, and security professionals.
So knowing group policy is a good thing to add to your resume if you want to move up in IT.
It's definitely a smart move. It shows you can handle the challenges of a big IT environment.
Well, this is all super insightful. I'm starting to see the command prompt in a whole new way.
Oh, good.
It's not just typing commands.
Yeah.
It's about understanding how Windows really works,
Mm-hmm.
managing users and systems well,
Right.
and fixing problems effectively.
Exactly. And we've only just started.
Oh, wow.
There's so much more we can do with the command prompt, especially with scripting.
Scripting. That sounds interesting. Can you tell me more about that?
Absolutely. Think of scripting like writing instructions for your computer to follow.
Okay.
So instead of typing the same commands again and again,
Mm-hmm.
you can create a script, which is basically a text file with all those commands.
Okay.
And then you just run that script to execute all of them at once.
So it's like automating tasks that you would normally do by hand.
Exactly. Let's say you have a routine task,
Okay.
like copying files, renaming them,
Mhm.
and then zipping them up.
Right.
You could write a script to do all of that for you.
Yeah. That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
It would save so much time.
Oh, yeah. Especially for sysadmins who manage tons of computers.
Exactly. And
Uh,
scripting is flexible. Right.
It is, yeah. You can use variables, loops, conditions.
Okay.
You can even get input from the user to create scripts that are as simple or complex as you need.
Can you give me some examples of how scripting is used?
Sure. One common use is for system maintenance.
Okay.
Let's say you need to clean up temp files.
Right.
Defrag the hard drive and check for updates regularly.
Uh-huh.
Instead of doing that manually on every computer, you could write a script that does it all for you automatically.
Wow.
Maybe every night while you sleep.
It's like having a robot assistant to keep your computer running smoothly.
Exactly. And if you want to get really creative,
Yeah.
you can even use scripting to make interactive tools.
Okay.
Imagine a script that asks the user for some information
Right.
and then uses that info to do a specific task, all within the command prompt window.
So we can build custom tools with the command prompt.
Absolutely. There's so much you can do. And you can even use scripting for Active Directory tasks.
Wait, so we can automate user account creation,
Mm-hmm.
password resets,
Yep.
group management, and all that stuff with scripts.
You got it. Imagine a script that automatically creates new user accounts
Okay.
using information from an HR database,
Nice.
or a script that checks for inactive accounts and disables them for security.
That would save so much time.
Oh, yeah. A ton of time.
So scripting really takes the command prompt to a whole new level.
It does. It turns the command prompt from a simple command line tool
Right.
into a powerful scripting environment.
Okay.
You can automate tasks, create your own tools, and even manage complex systems like Active Directory.
Wow, this is amazing.
Yeah,
I never realized you could do so much with the command prompt.
it's pretty powerful.
It's not just typing commands. It's about controlling your system, automating tasks, and building your own tools.
Exactly. And the best part is, it's not that hard to learn. Especially if you already know a little bit about the command line.
So where should I start if I want to learn more about scripting?
The easiest way is to use Notepad.
Okay.
It comes with Windows.
Right.
It's simple and can handle basic scripts.
But are there more advanced options if I want more features?
Definitely. There are great text editors made for coding and scripting,
Okay.
like Notepad++, AE, Sublime Text, Visual Studio Code.
Got it.
They have things like syntax highlighting, code completion, debugging tools,
Right.
and even integration with version control systems.
So if I'm serious about scripting, it's worth getting one of those.
Yeah, for sure. It can make you much more productive.
Makes sense.
And they help you write cleaner code and catch errors.
So once I write my script, how do I actually run it?
That's easy.
Okay, good.
You just save the file with a .bat extension, that's short for batch file.
Okay.
Then you can either double-click it to run it, or open a command prompt, go to the folder where you saved it, and type the name of the script, and hit enter.
Okay, so pretty straightforward.
It is. And once you know the basics, you can start learning more advanced things.
Okay, like what?
Like loops to repeat actions,
Huh?
conditional statements to make decisions based on certain things,
Right.
and even functions to make your scripts more modular.
So there's a lot to learn with scripting.
Oh yeah, tons of possibilities. And the best way to learn is to just try it out.
Okay.
Start with a simple script. Play around with commands. Don't be scared to make mistakes. That's how you learn.
All right, this has been incredible.
Yeah.
We've seen how powerful the command prompt is, learned about Active Directory and group policy, and even touched on scripting.
It is amazing what you can do with just a few lines of code.
It is.
Yeah.
And there's more, right?
Yeah, there's one more tool we should talk about that takes things to a whole new level. PowerShell.
PowerShell. I've heard of that. Is it like a supercharged version of the command prompt?
You could say that.
Okay.
PowerShell is more advanced and can do more than the regular command prompt.
Got it.
It was designed to overcome some of the limitations of the old command prompt.
Right, okay.
It uses the .NET framework, which gives it access to a huge library of pre-built functions and modules,
Right.
making it super powerful for automating tasks and managing complex systems.
So it's like command prompt, but way stronger.
Exactly. PowerShell can do way more.
Like what?
You can work with objects,
Okay.
access the .NET framework directly,
Mm-hmm.
and even manage remote systems over a network.
Wow. Okay.
It's a big deal for anyone who uses Windows a lot.
So what's the difference between PowerShell and the command prompt?
One big difference is that PowerShell works with objects, not just text.
Okay.
So you can work with data in a much more organized and structured way.
Right.
For example, instead of just getting a plain text list of files,
Mm-hmm.
you get file objects, and each one has its own properties,
Got it.
like the name, size, creation date, and stuff like that.
So it's a more powerful way to manage data.
Exactly. And because it uses the .NET framework,
Right.
you have access to a huge library of functions and modules that you can use in your scripts.
Okay.
This gives you a ton of flexibility to do things that would be really hard with the old command prompt.
So it sounds like PowerShell is a must-have for system administrators.
Oh, for sure.
And anyone working with Windows systems.
Definitely. And the best part is even though PowerShell is more powerful,
Yeah.
It's not that hard to learn,
Okay, good.
especially if you already know a little bit about scripting.
So I don't need to be a coding expert.
Nope. Microsoft made PowerShell pretty accessible.
That's good to know.
There are a lot of resources online.
Like what?
Tutorials, documentation,
Okay.
even interactive learning modules.
Now, I'm curious about how PowerShell works with Active Directory and group policy.
Oh, yeah.
We talked about using the command prompt for those things,
Mm-hmm.
but I bet PowerShell makes it even easier.
You're right. PowerShell has a bunch of commands.
That-
Called CMDlets. It's pronounced commandlets.
Okay, CMDlets.
They are made specifically for managing Active Directory and group policy.
Got it.
And they are really powerful, letting you do all sorts of tasks with just a few lines of code.
Okay, give me some examples.
Sure. To manage user accounts in Active Directory,
Mm.
you have CMDlets like get AD user, new AD user, set AD user, remove AD user.
Okay.
Those let you get info about users, create new accounts, change them, even delete accounts.
Wow, so PowerShell is like a scripting language just for Active Directory?
Pretty much. And the same goes for group policy.
Okay.
PowerShell has CMDlets like get GPO, new GPO, set GPO, and remove GPO.
Okay.
You get really precise control over those things.
It sounds like PowerShell takes the command prompt to a whole new level.
It does, especially for managing big systems like Active Directory and group policy.
Okay.
It's a total game changer for sysadmins and IT people.
Right.
It helps them automate things, manage systems efficiently, and fix problems fast.
This has been a crazy journey.
Yeah.
We've learned about the power of the command prompt, dove into Active Directory and group policy,
Yep.
and even touched on PowerShell scripting.
It's pretty amazing how much we've covered.
It is.
From basic commands to complex scripts that can automate whole IT workflows.
Right.
The command line is a really important tool for anyone in tech.
It's not just for IT people either.
Oh, for sure.
Anyone can benefit from knowing a few basic commands.
Absolutely.
It can save you time, make you more efficient,
Yeah,
and help you understand your computer better.
exactly. It's not just a tool. It's a skill, a mindset, a way of thinking about tech.
I like that. So for those who want to learn more, where should they start?
Microsoft has great documentation online,
Okay.
both for the command prompt and PowerShell.
Right.
And there are so many tutorials, videos, and online courses out there.
What about communities?
Oh, the community is great.
Okay.
There are forums, online groups, even social media groups for command line fans.
Nice.
It's a good way to connect with people,
Yeah.
ask questions,
Right.
share what you know,
Okay.
and learn from others.
Speaking of learning, what about practicing and trying things out?
Oh, that's super important.
Okay.
Reading about commands is one thing,
Right.
but actually using them is the best way to learn.
Okay.
So set up a safe environment, start with an easy command,
Uh-huh.
play around with it, and see what happens.
Right.
Don't be afraid to mess up. That's how you learn.
And you don't have to memorize everything, right?
Nope, not at all. You can always look things up,
Okay.
check the documentation,
Right.
or find help online.
The key is to just be curious,
Yeah,
try things out,
exactly.
and be persistent.
The command line can be a powerful tool, and it's fun to explore.
All right. So to wrap things up, we've talked about how useful the command line is.
Right.
All the cool things you can do.
Yep.
But there's also a deeper side to it,
Oh, interesting.
something to think about.
Okay.
The command line is a direct link to the core of your computer.
Right.
It's a way to talk to the machine on its own terms,
Yeah.
to understand how it works and control it in a way that you can't with those fancy graphics and menus.
It's like speaking the computer's native language.
Exactly.
You skip all the complicated stuff and get straight to how it works.
And in a world where tech is getting so complex, the command line gives you clarity and control.
Definitely.
It reminds you that you're not just a user. You can be a creator, shaping and molding technology to do what you want.
I love that.
So keep exploring the command line.
Yeah.
It's not just learning skills. It's about understanding the digital world and how you fit into it.
That's a great way to put it.
All right, that's it for a deep dive into the world of the command prompt, PowerShell Active Directory, and all things command line. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Wow, we've really explored the command line world, haven't we?
We have. It's been quite a journey.
From those basic commands to complex scripting,
Yeah.
we even got into Active Directory, group policy, and of course, the powerful PowerShell.
It's amazing how much you can do with just a few lines of code, isn't it?
You know, what really struck me is that the command line isn't just about technical skills.
Right.
It's like a way of thinking, a willingness to go deeper.
Absolutely. It's about embracing that precision and efficiency.
Yeah.
And that feeling of solving problems with just a few commands.
It's like you're unlocking a secret language that gives you more control.
Exactly, and anyone can learn it.
That's what's so cool about it.
You don't need to be a coding whiz or a system admin.
Right.
Just a little curiosity and a willingness to try things out.
So for those who are ready to dive in, where should they start?
Well, Microsoft has fantastic documentation,
Okay.
both for the command prompt and PowerShell.
Right.
Their website is a goldmine of information with detailed explanations and examples.
And there are tons of tutorials and online courses available too, right?
Oh, tons. YouTube, Udemy, Coursera, they all have great learning resources.
Okay, good to know. And what about communities?
The command line community is awesome.
Okay.
There are forums and groups all over the place.
So many places to connect with other people.
Absolutely. You can ask questions, share what you've learned,
Right?
get support from others who've been there.
And practice is key, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's one thing to read about it,
Mm-hmm.
but you got to actually do it.
Exactly.
Experiment, make mistakes, learn from them.
That's the best way to learn. Set up a safe space to practice.
Okay.
Start with a simple command and just see what happens.
And we don't have to memorize every single command, right?
No, not at all. You can always look things up.
Okay.
There's documentation and help online.
It's about being resourceful.
Exactly. Just be curious. Try things out. Be persistent.
You know, throughout this whole episode, we've talked about the practical benefits,
Mm-hmm.
like efficiency, problem solving.
Right.
But there's something deeper, too.
Oh, I like where this is going.
The command line is like a direct connection to your computer's core.
It is like you're speaking its language.
Exactly.
You see how it really works.
And you control it in a way you just can't with a mouse and menus.
Right.
And
Okay.
in this world where tech can feel so complicated,
Yeah,
the command line offers clarity.
definitely.
You feel more in control.
It reminds you that you're not just a user, you can be a creator.
I love that.
You can understand it.
Yeah.
You can make it do what you want.
So as you learn more about the command line,
Yeah.
remember, it's not just about technical skills.
Right.
It's about understanding the digital world and your place in it.
Beautifully said.
Well, that wraps up our incredible deep dive into the world of the command prompt, PowerShell, Active Directory, and all that command line goodness.
It has been a fantastic journey.
It has.
Yeah.
I hope this episode inspired you to explore this amazing world, unlock your own command line potential,
Yeah.
and embrace the power of speaking the language of machines.
Absolutely. Keep exploring, keep learning,
Yes.
and keep pushing the boundaries. Until next time, happy coding.